Hi guys, welcome to this chat today with Tisha Talks and Lakeisha, talking about overcoming your comfort zone, overcoming those areas where you just feel completely comfortable and you know that you need to move, you need to be in a new space, but it's your comfort zone, right? So I'm so excited to have Lakeisha talking with us today, sharing her experience about this. And our hope is that people will be encouraged, people will be motivated, and people will be inspired to continue moving forward. So help me welcome Lakeisha. Hi, Lakeisha.
Hello, everyone. So grateful and glad to be here with you today. It really means a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. I just knew, when I asked women what they would be willing to share, what they would be willing to talk about, I wanted it to be something that they had experienced so that it would be their story. And so I'm really thankful that all of you, all the ladies that have been in the series have been willing to be just as transparent and as open as they possibly can about these issues, these things that we all deal with, right? It's all a part of life. So, Lakeisha, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself for those people who don't know who you are?
Okay, awesome. So again, thank you for the opportunity just to meet and chat and connect with so many other women and just people in general. So my name is Lakeisha Cyprian, and I am the project manager for a group called the Greater Newark Shared Services Alliance, which is coordinated through a nonprofit agency in Newark, New Jersey. I do sit in Montclair. My function involves helping support early childhood program directors become sustainable, really fine tune and strengthen their business practices, and together as one, strengthening so we have greater collective buying power and a larger voice for advocacy. So it's kind of in conjunction with what you're doing, Tisha, building a connection or a network of women who have raised voices. I'm also a website designer. I've been doing that for 20 years, self-taught in coding, love, 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 love technology. So that's just a little bit about me.
Yes, I am super excited to be talking to you. I think that what you do is excellent. And even I'll let everyone know that you're even a part of the When Passion Meets Purpose team and helping us develop in that way. And so I'm just excited. I'm excited to hear you share and let us know more about what could you possibly have had to overcome.
Oh my gosh. So many things, so many things. And so when we talked about what could we discuss today, and I said overcoming the comfort zone, I really took some time to think deeply about what that meant. And sometimes for people that might be a relationship, that might be a work situation. And my story is relative to a work situation, but what I recognize, which was basically eye-opening for me, is that it was more so a behavior. So the behavior was that comfort zone, and that comfort zone or that behavior was staying in situations or prioritizing others' comfort over my own. And at first I thought it was a thing, like a relationship or a job or, just a thing, where it really wasn't. It was a behavior and something that I didn't realize was so ingrained in me, just coming from a caregiver perspective, always wanting to help, always wanting to support others, but realizing that I've limited or lost a little bit of myself on the way. And so, yes, I felt good supporting and advocating for others, but the part where I saw myself, I didn't really see myself shrinking because I allowed that picture of helping others to be bigger than the fact that I was shrinking, and it was just in terms of making others comfortable. So my comfort zone was helping make others comfortable, and it didn't help me in the long run.
Wow. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I think that that is pretty interesting. And a lot of us can fall into that space where we're taking care of everybody else. We're making sure everybody else is good, but we're not doing anything for ourselves.
Right.
How did that kind of manifest in, you were saying professionally, right?
Yes, more so professionally. So don't mind me if I look at my notes because I didn't want to miss any points today, because my goal is to help others see that they are worth it. So I didn't want to miss any points. And so professionally, I always found myself, well, I started off as a teacher and then I progressed to become a leader, a director. And so supporting large teams of early childhood professionals. And I always found myself in an advocacy role for my staff, always pushing and driving for them. And there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes it can be a challenge when you don't really see anybody in your corner to do the same for you and not realizing that you absolutely deserve the same. And so I recognize that, I was helping to advocate for my staff. I was helping to develop my staff, but I wasn't gaining anything. I wasn't learning. I wasn't growing professionally. I felt stuck and stagnated. And also, I just wondered, could there be a balance between what I'm doing, helping others, while also having an interest in other areas? So I mentioned technology and me being a website designer, and I wonder, is it possible for me to venture into the world of technology while also staying here? Because if I go into technology, then I'll be learning, I'll be expanding, I'll be growing, but I know what I'm doing so well. And is it worth it for me to move on when I can basically do my job with my eyes closed? But how is that helping me? And I see that I'm raising the bar for everyone else.
Right. That is so interesting because we get comfortable. Like even I think of in my past organizations that I've worked with, so many people are just stuck in that place of comfort doing that same thing over and over, and they could do it with their eyes closed.
Yes.
That they don't step out and risk moving forward or doing something else, or how else they can evolve.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's exactly what happened. So I said, oh, well, I'm doing this so well. I'm helping other people. And then I started to justify. So I said, okay, I'm earning a lot. I should be okay with that.
Right.
I am, able to do things as a single mom that I know other people struggle with. I need to be grateful. I started to make justifications for, not moving forward in what I am passionate about. So you kind of limit yourself. You really limit yourself. And I recognize that over time, it started when you mentioned the word manifesting. It started to actually manifest in my health. So there were I had I guess the big epiphany happened when I was working in a toxic environment, and I was still, doing for others, raising the bar, but not being supported, dealing with some challenges that were way beyond my control. And I actually developed a stress condition called stress-induced urticaria. And what that would do to me is anytime I thought of going to work, anytime I got in my car to drive to work, I would break out in hives. So the situations I was dealing with at work actually manifested into an illness.
Wow.
And I never forget it, being at the specialist and just like in tears. And so she said, I can prescribe this for you, but you need to change your environment. And I'm like, well, I'm earning, a great salary. I'm helping people. I don't have a plan. Like, what do I do? Like, I can't just quit my job. What do I do? And she said, if your health matters to you, you need to make the steps to change your environment.
Wow. Yes. Wow. So did you do that right away, or what happened?
So did I do that right away? Not right away. I did go to the pharmacy. I went to the pharmacy first. But what I did was I tapped into two people who are very influential and very important to me, and those are my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So my oldest sister, Lori, and my twin sister, Aisha. I talked to them. I gained some, and I talked to them about what I was experiencing, my stuckness, and also a lot of the challenges that I was facing in that toxic environment. And they really helped me to see the things that I don't see in myself. It's so good to have that person or those people who are open and honest, will be 3,000% with you at all times. And they really encourage me to look at other opportunities and to consider something different, because my heart always beat for technology, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so they encouraged me to look into those other avenues, to gain some skills and education on the side. That's why I think it's important to continually develop yourself. And so I actually utilize, I had an opportunity to engage in a fellowship while I was still employed at this organization that helped me to network with other people who were in the tech industry,
Wow.
in education. So, and I also, what I did too was I had to change what was entering into my mind. So every day it was like I was bombarded with negativity whenever I would step foot into the office. So before I got there, as soon as I got in my car, I would turn on Joel Osteen. I would turn on an encouraging word. I would put in a CD from my bishop, and I would encourage myself. So I had the encouragement of my sisters. I had the encouragement of my pastor, from here in New Brunswick, and Joe Osteen, my pastor from Texas, is really encouraging me and motivating me to basically level up and try something different and tap into something new. So no, it didn't happen right away, but I did have a breaking point. There was a breaking point where after all of this helping to develop myself and connecting with others and networking with others, that I finally had to step out on faith, which was very scary. And I did resign. And I'm actually speaking my truth for the first time. People didn't even know this, but I had no position lined up when I resigned. It was literally on faith, because it got to the point where I kept replaying in my mind what my doctor said. And she said, you need to change your environment. And I kept replaying in my mind what my sisters would say to me: you're so great at this, and you should pursue that. And I would think about the things that my mother would say to me too, and encouraging me. She gave me, my mother's since passed, and I'll never forget this. She gave me a card. She just random, regular day. She had a card that just said, "You are awesome." And it had all these different adjectives. And at the end of the card, it said, "You deserve a trophy," that says, all this stuff. And that just gave me the strength and just the trust. I had to learn to trust in God and that He would guide the way. And that's what I did.
Wow. Wow. It, I can completely relate.
Mm-hmm.
I can completely relate to being in a situation where you're always giving, you're always doing, you're always supporting, you're always giving advice, you're always doing the right thing.
Yes.
And you look around and everyone else around you is being elevated, especially in a professional capacity as an African-American woman.
Yes.
Everyone else is being elevated and given the benefits, and you're still stagnant and being afraid of moving out of it because you don't know what is to come. But I love the fact that you were talking about the community that you surrounded yourself with and how important building community is, because that was like you said they give you 3,000%,
Mm-hmm.
and remind you of the stuff that you don't remember about yourself or the stuff that you don't see about yourself.
Right.
I think that is so awesome.
And I'm just so grateful. I mean, I have an amazing, amazing family. In fact, they will be watching.
My family.
Yeah, I have such a great support system. So, I mean, that extends beyond my sisters to my brothers, to my aunts and my cousins, I have a great family who really supports and inspires me. But Tisha, I got to that point where I had to really put my trust in God. I spent a lot of time talking to God, and I said, I need to, and I think that was my lesson too. My lesson in getting out of my comfort zone was really trusting and believing that He had me in the palm of His hands. And he did. So there was a light at the end of the tunnel at first. I never, I'm thinking about when I did submit my letter of resignation. It was very short. It wasn't even 2 sentences, right?
Yeah.
Because I at that point I realized that I deserved more for myself, my mental health, my emotional health, my daughter, who is always looking to me for the answers of who she is supposed to be as a woman. So that is important. So I gave my resignation to my then COO, who was dealing with some struggles as well at the same organization. And I gave it to her. She read it, and I nearly fainted. And so she got me like a Nutrigrain bar. And she's like, doesn't it feel good to when the stress leaves your body? She was like, that's the stress leaving your body. She's now an executive coach. But she said, that's just the stress. This is a reaction to this leaving your body. And, this too shall pass. And it did. And I said to you a little bit earlier that I did not have a job lined up. I was working off faith. I was interviewing. I was, and I was telling people that I was going to be in certain roles, but I wasn't. I was walking by faith. And 2 weeks later, I actually got a phone call from where I'm currently working. And the director of this department who I currently work for, they said, we have an open position and we immediately thought of you. Wow. I didn't even interview for this position. We immediately thought of you. What do we need to do to get you to accept this offer? At the same time, I got offered a position at an Ivy League university remotely. And so that gave me the opportunity to pursue 2 things. And the interesting thing about it is both opportunities involve education and technology.
Look at God.
So my days are spent using tech systems, creating systems, also using platforms, the things that I love that I didn't know that, not that I didn't know, but I was afraid. I wasn't sure if I would be able to walk in that path because I got so comfortable with doing what I had been doing year after year and just second guessing myself and allowing others' comfort to surpass or supersede what I needed for me.
I am so glad that you shared this because it's encouraging, especially as someone who just has taken that step of faith and stepping out and not having, a job lined up and just doing what, I feel passionate about and feel led to do and trusting God, really. At the end of the day, it's like a faith walk. I tell people I'm like in this boat and and God is rowing. And I'm just I'm in the seat, like, which way are we going? Where are we going? And so it's so encouraging. And I hope that, the ladies or even the men that are watching are encouraged that that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that it does work out.
Yeah, because let me tell you, I don't leading up, I made a decision that this was it and that I was going to submit my letter of resignation. But then I heard the voices, well, how are you going to pay for this? And that's selfish, you're a single mom, all these things. But at the end of the day, I, just, kept the words of my family at heart and just always knew that God was going to provide, take care, lead, guide, and direct my path. And once I because, sometimes we can be so controlling. And once I released it and let it go to Him, literally everything fell into place. And I'm continuing to learn. And the interesting thing about the current role that I have is pretty, I'm able to develop, I'm able to use my entrepreneurial skills because I'm developing a program that is actually expanding across several counties. And so In addition to tech, I can use those entrepreneurial skills. I'm constantly learning and growing. I'm connecting with people from all over the country. I've been asked to do things that I've never done before, deliver presentations at state meetings, deliver presentations at conferences. So it's opened the door. It's literally opened the door just to new opportunities for me. And I'm glad that I let go and I stepped out of that comfort zone and didn't let, those limiting thoughts keep me held back. Like I'm human. We still struggle with limiting thoughts, but I remind myself, okay, you've experienced this and you can press forward.
Do you feel like that is the difference? Like where you're walking now is you walking in purpose? Do you feel like
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
different?
Absolutely. It's more with intention, because I guess where I was before, I was so, I kind of feel like I had, goodness, reached my capacity. And so then you get just like, whatever, I wasn't delivering at the highest potential. And so now I am walking in my purpose. Is more the work that I do is more intentional. I'm always getting synapses and new ideas because I'm excited about every single day. So yes.
That is awesome. What would you say to the person watching that is in that position where they're at work, they know that they're not happy, they know that they're not satisfied, but they're afraid to make that move because that unknown is more, they're more afraid of the unknown
Right.
than, where they are now.
It's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but I would say, and it may sound cliche, but it is so helpful just to surround yourself with positive people, with people who will recognize your strengths and always celebrate that, who, if you expand your networks, that's another thing that will lead you to opportunities. The reason why I strongly believe that I'm sitting where I am today is because while I was struggling, I still, showed up, and you have to do what's right even when you're not being treated well, because there's always going to be people watching. So still, otherwise I wouldn't have gotten a phone call, to say, okay, we have this position open. Are you interested? So while you're still dealing with issues, always just, be cognizant of others who are looking to you to see the level of work that you are doing. And maybe they'll tell somebody else that, okay, this person I interacted with, I know that this is their role. And, maybe you should think about them down the line if something comes up. But definitely keeping a strong network of support, having a support system and people who will hold you accountable and say, hey, did you, because my sisters would be like, all right, what's the next step? What's the plan? Did you, call this person? Have you, having that group or those people or that key person to keep you motivated.
That is definitely the goal of Tisha Talks and When Passion Meets Purpose, that we're able to build community and support each other and celebrate in a non-competitive environment, right? So like the thing that is so important to me and to us when we have these things or host these workshops or do these videos, that you feel like you can come as you are. You don't have to be in a competition with anyone else. And your accomplishments will be celebrated because we genuinely want to see you walk in everything that God has for you, right? In all those spaces. And so I'm super encouraged to know that, that was a key factor or a key element in you being able to step out in that way.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but let me tell you, it is so worth it because I'm a better mother for it. I'm a better friend. I'm a better sister. I'm just a better person for saying yes to me, for prioritizing me. And people need to know that they matter, you know, as cliche as people might say that sound. No, you actually matter, because how can you pour into others and you're an empty vessel? So never feel bad. And I tell my daughter all the time, never feel bad about doing for yourself. Yes, we're here to help. We're here to serve others, but always take that time to celebrate, to do things for you too, because then you can expand that to others.
Mm-hmm. I was before we end, I was doing a podcast, recording one earlier today, and I was talking about owning your destiny, and about how a lot of times we don't do certain things because, oh, this person said that they were going to do this, or we don't have this help, or this person didn't show up like I thought that they were going to show up, or we put a lot of weight, or we give a lot of people power in what happens in our lives and how we move, right? So I was thinking about, like, you know, when I was on the job, I was giving there's only a limitation to how I can move and how I can show up, you know, based on that job description, based on whoever's in authority. And so if I want to show up in a bigger place, if I want more for my life and for my space, then I had to take ownership of that situation, and not give people the control, you know, because we only have one life.
That's it.
We only have one life. And I mean, I'm committed to living it to my fullest potential.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, I sometimes think of my life and like what I love to write. So I think of what would my story look like? And I want it to be an exciting story. I want it to be an encouraging story. I don't want it to be a story of she got into her car and broke out in hives.
Right.
And left at 5. So,
right.
You know, that's important. Or she got into her car and she broke out in hives and she was so stressed that she had a stroke and died. Like, I don't want that to be my story. I want to live with purpose. I want to set the example for my daughter. And I want others to see that when you have that support, you can achieve anything. And even if you feel like you don't have the support today, like I said, I put that Joel Osteen on. I had an encouraging word around me every single day. So that's key.
So it was definitely, I know I said we're about to go, but you would definitely say also it was a mindset change, shift in perspective.
Yes, absolutely. Complete. Because, you know, when you're, I don't know if you've ever been in a toxic environment, but if you have been, you recognize that you start to take on some of those characteristics. And I'm like, this is not me. I don't recognize myself. And so, yeah, I had to make that shift in my mindset.
Yeah, you definitely, I have been in toxic situations. And the crazy thing is, if you don't make that shift, the thing that is toxic becomes normal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't even know, like, this is not right. Like, mm-hmm. your ability to assess what should be happening or shouldn't be happening is warped because you've been surrounded by that so long.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, Keisha, I am so happy that we had the chance to have this conversation. I definitely learned some stuff that I didn't know. But I am so sure that everybody that is watching this or will watch this is going to be inspired and encouraged to step out. Step out. Are there any last words that you want to leave? And also your contact information.
Well, thank you again. I just, want to thank you for giving me this time to share with others. Because like I said, this was like the first time that I really disclosed and walked in my for real, Holyfield truth.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for this platform, for this network, and just for everything that you're doing to empower others.
Oh, thank you. So if anybody wanted to, I know you said you do website design. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If anybody wanted to reach out to you, how would they contact you?
They could contact me on Facebook under Lakeisha Mayers, actually.
Spell that, please.
Um, yeah, so you can post that, or I'll post it out. I'm so blessed that majority of my referrals come from word of mouth, and what I do is I build a sample page for people to see if I'm meeting their aesthetic expectations, and then they decide if they want to move forward with me or not. There's no hard pressed thing, and I've been getting a lot of great referrals over the years. God has definitely been blessing me. But Lakeisha Mayers is how you can contact me on Facebook, or you can email me. My business email is asc.dreams@gmail.com.
Great, guys. So y'all heard it. Lakeisha's story. I'm so grateful that she shared. And please support her if you're looking for website design, if you're looking for tech information. She's the person to go to, and let's support each other that are walking in our giftings, walking in our purpose, and just living our best lives. And so we thank you, Lakeisha, for sharing your story and sharing your time. I will also put her information in the description box below. And as always, when passion meets purpose, great things happen.